Hey, what's up, everybody? This is ComicConartist, and today I'll be doing another comic book recommendations. But this one will be a little bit longer than the last one because I plan on doing two comics that I want to recommend and two mangas that I want to recommend because I was enjoying myself. Well, I had fun making the last video because it let me go back and think about some comic books that I haven't read and some mangas that I haven't read in a while. And I don't know, I just want to do this more, probably get some awareness out on some comic books that people aren't reading. Or maybe have been unsure of picking up and whether or not they're good. I don't know. I just like doing this. It's fun. So I plan on doing it again. And as you guys see in the background, the comic book that I'm be talking about first is Locke and Key. And this comic is written by Joe Hill. The art is by Gabriel Rodriguez. As you can see, you guys can read. I did a terrible job at reading it, but you guys can. But Locke and Key is one of my favorite comic books that I've been reading recently. And before I started reading it, I was hearing a lot of good things about it, so I decided to get it. And when I started reading it, it hooks you instantly because I'm not gonna give away any spoilers, but at the beginning, a terrible event happens to the family, the Locke family, and after that event happens, they move to the Key house, which you can kind of see the Locke in Key, and why Locke is spelled with an E at the end because of their last name. Now, you would think that would be enough for the series. Bad stuff happened, they move to a house and have real life adventures, but no, they throw in more stuff. This house that they move into turns out that it has I'm trying to find the right word. Not necessarily magical, but supernatural, I guess you could say, properties to it. It has like supernatural powers, and in the house are keys, like you can see from the picture on the left. There's keys, and there are a bunch of different keys, and each key does something different, pretty much. It has its own like property, where like some keys they open up people's heads, like the picture in the middle. Some keys can let you, you put them in the door and it lets you teleport. Some keys turn you into a ghost. Some keys do all kind of crazy stuff. And I think it was like a key that made you a giant. It was all kind of crap. And when I'm telling, from when I first heard about the book, I kind of looked at it like a Disney movie, where it's like it's gonna be a bunch of kids in the house, magical keys, like the Wizard and the Wardrobe, something like that, where just like they just open up doors and go into some magical, fantastical place. But no, I was completely ass wrong because this book it has a real like mature, dark tone to it, and it's very, very, very interesting. Like it's very supernatural as well as creepy and psychological. And when you look at the writer, you kind of see why, because Joe Hill is the writer's pen name, and his father is Stephen King. So Joe Hill, son of Stephen King, and I know a lot of people know Stephen King, or at least have heard of him or read some of his books at some point in time, and you know of him, and he writes the creepy mysteries and stuff like that. So this book is kind of like, this comic is kind of like that. It's dark, it's creepy, it's scary, it has a lot of tension in the book, and you'll feel that through the entire thing. And all these keys do these crazy things, and it always sets up like new plots and new storylines, and it's always cool because this book is a little bit different because every story arc has 6 issues, and that's how it's been so far from the first issue. So it was a first story arc that was 6 issues, and after that it's always like a last reveal, or you can kind of see the transition to the next story arc in the last issue, and then it goes to the next story, and that's 6 issues, and it goes to the next story, and then it goes on like that. So you kind of get like these little short individual storylines, and then you move on to the next story. So it's cool because right now the comic book is short, so you don't really need a jumping on point. But if you ever need one, you can just tell somebody to just buy these 6 issues, and they kind of give you the storyline at the beginning, like a little recap, and then they put you in the story, and that's pretty much it. So it's an easily accessible book. I would recommend picking up all of it because it's fucking great. And it's just a very, very cool story that follows this family as they go from terrible event to new house to more terrible event, the keys, and then learning the mystery of the house, all kind of stuff like that. It's so cool and very imaginative, and it's just so gangster. Like I love this book so much, man. I never thought that I would be so interested in the world like this book. Like I didn't think I was gonna be so into this book when I first started reading it, and it's pretty damn good. It keeps me hooked every issue. This book is also like, not only is it very, very like mystical and supernatural, it's also very, very, very violent. Like it's bloody. That's why I was like, it's not a kid's book. It's not fucking uh it's not like Wizard of Oz or something. Like it's just gonna be a magical and real mystical and shit. No, no, no. This book gets violent. People die. People get fucked up. It's ridiculous. A whole bunch of crazy stuff happens in this book, and I don't know. You may be able to see a theme of violence from the comic books I recommend, but that's what I like. I like the more adult books, not so at least sometimes I do enjoy the regular superhero stuff like Spider-Man and stuff like that, but I do enjoy the gritty, the violent, the adult theme books, which is pretty cool. And this book is very, 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 very good for that because a lot of murders go down in this book. So it's pretty cool. Another thing I like about this book is that the art from went too far. That's the next book I'm gonna be talking about. I'm already fucking up. But the one thing I like about this is Gabriel's art, pretty much. And what's cool about the art is that the family looks like a family, and it's not in the sense like you can have an artist and he draws, and then you can kind of see if this is the family and that's how they look. But normally in the comic book, you see a family, they just have like the same like basic traits pretty much. Like, okay, they're a family, so she'll have the hair color of the mother, the son will have the hair color of the father, they're the same eye color. That's about it. That's all you get. Like, they look like 4 different human beings. Like, have you ever seen a commercial and it's like a commercial family, and like the father be white and the kid look like she's Hispanic, and then the son look black or something, and it's like, this don't look like a family to me. In this comic book, they look like a family in the sense that how they always say, like, you have your mother's eyes, you have your father's jaw structure, I don't know, something like that. That's how this comic book is. Like, you can tell who looks like who, what traits come from which parent. It makes it more realistic to me, I guess. It really gets you more emotionally attached to the characters because not only you see them develop and you see all these things happening to them, you get to know them, you get to like them, and then you get all crazy, and the tension gets raised up when something's bad going on because you don't know something's going to happen to the character. It's also very emotionally attaching because they look like a family, and everybody can relate to that because everybody has a family. I'm sorry if I'm offending some orphans, but everybody has a family in some kind of sense. And in this book, you can really see them, and they really look like a family, and they act like a family, and that makes it even worse when something happens to them because you can always be like, oh man, I wouldn't want that to happen to me and my family. Everybody can relate to that, and that's what I really like about this book, man. It keeps you gripped with all these crazy new keys that do different stuff, the plot that's going on, who did it, who done it, who don't did it in the future. It's just so much stuff, and it always just keeps you so interested. The writing is great, the art is fantastic, the characters are well developed, and they seem to go through real life things. Like, you can really relate to these characters, man, and you can understand like they're doing stuff that feels natural. This feels like you're watching a movie or something, or a TV show where it's just like they're just playing out stuff, and it just feels so like this was supposed to happen, or this could really not that it can really happen, but this is how it was supposed to happen pretty much. It wasn't just like, oh, this is happening, oh, it would be better for the story if this blows up or something like that. It just feels natural. It feels like this is how it's supposed to be. It's not you don't really have those moments where it's like, this is kind of off, this is kind of odd, I didn't really like this. It just flows so perfectly together.